Greetings from the apocalypse. So today in the studio, we were talking about microtorques a little bit, and I've gotten some questions about like, what the hell is a microtorque? Why is it different than a flex shaft? Is it better than a flex shaft? Yes, it is better than a flex shaft. So I'm just going to go through a little explanation of what they are and what advantages they have so that you can, think it over. If you're considering either getting a flex shaft or upgrading your flex shaft, you might want to think about getting a microtorque instead. If you're the kind of person that pulls out your flex shaft once every 6 months, then probably you don't need it. But for people that are doing things like stone setting and wax carving and things like that with their flex shaft, it may be worth it to you to consider getting a microtorque. So I'll show you the model that I think, it's a Marathon. I've been using them for many years. That's really sort of the best fit if you're thinking about upgrading, because there's a million options out there and there's some really expensive ones as well. And I mean, expensive, fancy is nice, but this one is very reasonably priced and it'll do what those will do, just as well for your purposes. So off to the studio. Okay, so we're about to polish up Alexis's beautiful hammer down setting that she did here. So I thought I would take this opportunity to show you guys how to use a microtorque. Now, what the fuck is a microtorque? A microtorque is a slightly fancier flex shaft, and I'm going to show you the reason why I like it so much. This is a Marathon brand, and I've always had Marathons, and they're really nice. Now, the whole reason why these are better than a flex shaft is this. I turn it on, I set the speed high or low. You see that? Hardly any vibration. Although it comes with a foot pedal, you will probably throw it in the garbage, because the whole point of this is, instead of using the stupid foot pedal and trying to control the speed, and you know what it's like when you're using a flex shaft a lot of times. You feel like you're riding a bucking horse, you're like back and forth. Well, maybe that's just me. Maybe you guys are super great at it, but this is kind of like the next step up. If you're doing like carving in wax or anything like that, something like this is indispensable, because you just don't get all that like jerking and vibration and whatever. So it's really beautiful. And you just set it to the speed, because different jobs take different speeds. So with polishing, you usually want generally a relatively high speed, but different jobs require different settings, and you set it right here. I mean, you see what I'm saying? There's no kick or anything like that, like there is with the flex shaft when you step in on it and it kind of like roars into life. So this is one of these things that like nobody needs one of these, but they're not that much more expensive than a regular flex shaft. Maybe an extra, $75, $100. So I have to say, if you're doing stuff like that and you're thinking about one, this thing is extremely sweet. So at any rate, now that you've heard my whole spiel on using a microtorque, now we're going to use the Swifty wheel to polish the beautiful top of her setting. So just like always, I'm going to rest my hands and my forearms nice and comfortably on the table. I'm going to put my thumb out to rest on the piece, because that way I'm really secure and comfortable. And I can just take this and just stroke along the top. Now, the important thing, of course, about a Swifty wheel is it won't scratch your stone. So you don't have to worry about like, oh no, help. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Because I don't know about you, but everybody slips occasionally. That's just sort of life. So that's why I like using these wheels when I polish. And you see how I'm just picking a section and stroking it along. See? So I don't know if you can see that, if that angle is right, but it smooths out the edge, gets rid of all those, any little like lumps or bumps. And we're going to go all the way around with this and just get everything really beautiful and evened out. Oh, and by the way, the Swifty leaves a high shine. Now, if there's any reason why you then don't want a high shine on the top, we can switch over to like a gray pumice wheel, which will smooth it out, but it isn't quite as shiny. I usually like shine on the top, but it gives you another option if maybe you want a little more of a matte finish. Okay, so I'm going to do a little more Then I'm going to turn this over to Alexis to do the rest of the polishing, and then we'll show you what it looks like when it's all done, which is going to be sexy as fuck.